if you'd like to have me as your mentor, and you just go to Patreon and you sign up for $1 or $5, and I will help you as the best I can. So please do that. There's a link in the description and on my channel. And with this, I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, hi tubers, hi friends, nice to see you again. Well, I can't see you, but you know what I mean. Anyway, I just finished this portrait. It's a commissioned work. Been working on it for quite a while, and I think it became quite nice. I struggled a lot with the yellows and lighting and a lot of things, but I think it in the end became quite nice. It's hard to see what's inside that eye right now, but it's easier to see it when you see the reality. And it's the same thing. It's a little bit loose, a detail somewhere, and I just kind of keep on doing what I always do. Paint, and yeah, you can see how I build, how I have built everything. Lighting, and you know, I'm quite extreme. I will be the first one to admit it. Yellow for me is basically yellow, and reds are reds, and blues are blues. And I used more the palette from the 1800s. You know what Edvard Munch and the impressionists used, but I try to paint more. My painting style is more Rembrandt-like and the classics, so it's kind of a mix there. Anyway, it looks more detailed from a distance, but yeah. Anyway, it was a ride. It was difficult to get this right, and very glad the customer is pleased with it, and I'm pleased with it too. So, you know, I can see how it's painted here. It's quite loose, but on the distance you get this holistic feeling, or whatever you would call it. Yeah. So, go back here. I do wonder if I'm going to start to stream when I'm painting, so people can ask questions and stuff like that. Might be able to do it on Twitch and YouTube. So if you have any opinion about that, you may leave a comment. Or leave a comment anyway, and remember to share my videos. That's extremely helpful for me. And press the subscription button, and you can also donate if you find my videos useful and that you learn something from them. It doesn't have to be much. Doesn't have to be anything actually, but just a token. Okay. So there will be out more videos, and as I was talking about, I will also start streaming, and I will see how the response will be for that, and maybe I make it into a weekly thing, but we'll see what happens. Okay, again, thanks for watching, and remember sharing, subscribe, and stay cool, because I'm trying to. Yeah, just one thing I wanted to say, and that is that it's actually two paintings in one. I started on one sketch and then I found out that it doesn't work out, so I just dump it and start all over again. So for once you're gonna see me fail or feel that I can't continue with something. So that actually happens. Usually I don't show that on the videos or stuff because I only take short bursts of 20 minutes or something like that at a time. But actually shit happens to me also, actually all the time. So here I am in a new studio. I'm gonna start this painting. The first one in this studio. It's a huge one. Stretches all over the place. A lower roof here, and brought with me my own doors, and haven't finished it yet, but here's the studio for big paintings. And when I'll clean this up, it's gonna be still lifes and maybe drawings and stuff like that. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to start on this commissioned work of this boy. He's a football enthusiast, as you can see, and I'm going to paint it on this canvas. I'm going to make a quite short video on the process. Do the same thing that I always do. Try to be the best copy machine I can possibly be and bring in my subjective self into the paint. Yeah, that is what you get when you paint a photograph. You actually bring it into, I should say, the subjective square. Yeah. Okay, so let's get started. So, lighting might be a problem here, but to change it a little bit. So, measuring 1, 2. And a little bit, like 1, 2, yeah. To get it right the first time, the sketch is the most important part. So, one of the most important parts. Just have to place it like it has a hat on, so you just have to get it in the right spot. And like this. Yep. That is 1. Let's see. Probably a little bit bigger. painting for quite a while now, weeks, because we're moving, and we just managed to get back into it. I think it's gonna not take much time. I think also I have to do something with this lighting, maybe have it that way instead to get more. The problem here is the roof is that high up, so the spreading on the light isn't that good. But then again, I'm going to paint the floor white so it kind of brings the lighting from the floor and up, and move this lighting around a little bit so I can find the right lighting. It's going to be easier in the other rooms because it's like 3 plus something meters high. So I don't use any projectors or anything, I just do it on freehand. So of course it can never be a perfect copy of the photo, and that's a good thing, because I think the painting's done with projectors are too static. You also lose much of the correcting brush strokes and stuff like that. So, yeah. Anyway, this video is not going to be 3 hours, so just guess I have to see. I just placing it like this, roughly, just trying to get it right, and then I keep on working. Okay. Now, in the documentary, Tim Vermeer, he is making this device to take motifs onto the canvas. I don't agree with his theory, but it's quite impressive to see how he does it. For me, it's just standing here, looking, trying to get it most correct that I can, and keep on correcting things as I go along, which leads to this building up of texture and physical presence of the motif on the canvas. What I also do is that I just measure one, 2, maybe a half, and it's like 1, 2, almost a half, and I just keep on molding it until it looks like the photograph. Strange, because I don't really know how I do it. I just start. I have a friend who uses a lot of rules, and the stuff he does is brilliant, but it's not my way. I haven't got the patience for it. Cutting the canvas up in lines and stuff. It's not me. I like it to be more direct. Like I can see there's something wrong there. I just go in with some white and I kind of correct it to get it into place, using the background to build it. Right here, using the background, then this comes here, starting to focus on the distance between that line and this eye, like here maybe, something like that, and it goes, yeah, approximately here. Then comes the arm here, scarf, shoulder here. And of course I do a lot of mistakes as I go along, and I just correct it. And that is what I think gives the painting, the more you paint, the more subjective it becomes, the more texture, the more life you give to the color. So I guess that's the point. That's the challenge. That's what I love to do. And I also used to do more models, but I haven't done that lately. And I do a lot of still lifes. Used to do self-portraits. I should start doing that again. Yeah. It's hard for me to stand here and talk and paint at the same time, so people ask me questions about stuff, how I do this and how I do that, what kind of oils I use, and that is 70% turpentine and 30% cooked linseed oil, not a raw one, will never dry. Never will dry very slowly. So it's all about texture, all about molding the colors as it is clay. That is what the old masters did. Anyway, yeah, enough for now. So the first brush strokes are starting to fall into place. And I think the placement on the canvas is quite alright, so just to start to fill in. It's very important to get a sketch like this on a right spot on the canvas. If not, you're gonna, maybe a hand will come outside because it's too big, or something happens and you're basically fucked, and that is not a good feeling. So try to get it right the first time, especially the most important parts, and then you just keep on going. I've gotten a lot of questions about what kind of pencils I use, and I use the Swine Bust. This is Da Vinci. They call them quite cheap but good. They have a nice kind of, they are not so stiff, so they move. It's easy to get some kind of dynamic strokes. If you use flat pencils, synthetic pencils, it becomes quite flat and stiff after a while. I like the brush strokes, that you can see the brush strokes, and that you can vary them. With different pressures and motions, and yeah, stuff like that. Of course, when I'm not filming, the painting process becomes more dynamic. See, zoom a little bit out so you can see. You can see here that the strokes are very rough, and I keep it like clay in a way, so keep it open. Perfection comes later, to put it that way. Yeah. Okay, this one, shadow here, there's a shadow, go down here, that was a little bit wrong. This one is going to be here. Then I'm observing the whole thing in different pieces. Always trying to go back and correct it. It's like, because humans are actually seeing the world. We're not seeing the whole picture all the time. The brain can't take in everything, so it's choosing and interpreting the reality all the time. That's why it's so easy to get it wrong. You have to go back and correct things all the time. Yeah. Sometimes it's quite heartbreaking to have, when you've done a quite nice sketch, think, oh, almost be a finished painting. And it's quite heartbreaking to tear it to pieces. But if you never do that, you will never actually become a better painter. You'll be stuck on the level of the sketches. And I see a lot of painters do that, and they don't push themselves any further. I think it's very important to make it hard for yourself, and experiencing the horrible feeling of not being able to reach your goals. That you always are like running after yourself when it comes down to skills. That is also the challenge. So. I do try to answer all questions on YouTube, but it's not always I see them, or I try my best. So. It's nice that people get something out of it. Anyway, that's it. Now the eye is there and the hand is there, so I have to look like this. Okay, eye, hand. So I just put down distance, hand, hand. So over here, So there. So just put down a mark for that, and that's how I build piece by piece. You can see it in the other videos too. I'm just trying to explain for those who wonder about this. Really having a fight with the lighting in this new studio, because there are two other big rooms that I will paint bigger paintings in. But here I really have to get the lighting right, because I've had the same studio for over 20 years, and 20 years. And when you move to a new studio, you have to adjust a lot of habits, and also the lighting and how it affects the colors. But this room is white, and I'm going to paint the floor white to get more reflection of light, so it will be more light than in my other big studio, because there was a old wooden floor that absorbed a lot of light. Here I can see I get a little bit more. I see the colors a little bit better, but I don't see the depth as good as in the last studio. But I mean, I'll probably get used to it. So. Okay, yeah. Yep. As I said, this is going to be a shorter video. Actually, there was a father of a kid who asked me to make this video, so I'm actually making it ahead. Probably gonna be fun to watch for his son. See. When I'm sketching, it's like I'm just the first layer of color, just trying to get the motif onto the canvas quite open, so I can see where I'm going to start molding it. And it's quite a fun process, because it's loose and I don't have to worry, especially around in the room. It doesn't matter if I do any big mistakes, just correct them. Just let it be, because it's going to look the same anyway. As I said, I do like to get it quite correct, but I'm not trying to copy it exactly. It's like if you actually took a projector of this photograph and you projected it onto the canvas when I was finished with the painting, you really would see that it didn't look the same. People tell me that I paint very photographically, but I don't really agree, because of course, if you paint from a photograph, of course it would look like the photograph, or at least a little bit like a photograph. Oh, yeah. But as I said before, that's not gold. Goal is to paint yourself. Painting is like being on the dance floor for hours. And I love being on the dance floor. Always love to dance and always love to move around. Training, martial arts. And I love doing things. I can't sit still. It's not me. I hate it. If I'm going to sit still, I have to have a movie in front of me or something to look at. And I'm never bored. I have too much to do to be bored. I don't even understand what boredom means, because it's just too much to do in this short blip of a lifetime. Yeah, higher. There, that's wrong. See? So that's how I do it. And boom. Probably said it before, but my mother always tells me that I'm giving away things for free. And in a way, but why not? Why do we always have to be on the receiving side? I mean, giving gives a good feeling. It gives some sense of purpose. I mean, painting is basically just a big ego trip. So it's me. But I like to see that other people are here, or be told that other people get something out of it. And actually, people tell me that I have solved problems for them just by looking at my videos. It makes me happy. Actually, when I'm turning off this video, I always put on some music. I always paint with music on, unless I go really deep and just forget to put it on. If I get into problems with details, or silence can be a good tool. Well, usually it's I have music on. It can be everything from ordinary pop music to trance to Rammstein to classic. Yeah, I like everything that has some, shall we say, a boot, Wellington boot, as Christopher Hitchens said. That kicks a little bit of ass. That's the kind of music I like. Okay, now we get the idea. Okay. Yeah, this is kind of a moment of truth for me. I was going to paint this, but it's too flat. It doesn't have any contrast. I haven't anything to work with. So I have decided to go for this portrait instead and just paint over the other one, because it's more me and more information, more to work with. And it's a much nicer portrait and it will become a much nicer painting. So, and I took it with my Pentax camera with a tungsten film, and becomes more like what I usually do. So I will paint over this one and start over again. Yeah. So there we go. What I do now is just release some of the color, some pencil to over it. There's some work that goes to waste, but I mean, in the end, I have to live with the painting I paint. So. Then, do just like this, turn it upside down. With this, I actually start to like it a little bit. Anyway, maybe I should do it. Nah, this one is better. So, do the same thing again. One, a little bit. 1, 2. Not 3, but almost. So, to find the right spot. And find the right spot for it. And do it all over again. It feels better. I mean, if you actually see that you start to dislike something, it's not really constructive to keep on working with it. But if the reason is that you stop because it's hard, that is a cop-out. Don't do that. I just didn't have enough information in the photograph to make it into something I would call a good painting. Because I actually took that other photo with a mobile telephone just as a test. And it didn't, kind of superficially looked like a nice picture, but photo, but it wasn't a photo I could actually use to paint a good painting. I could actually paint it. That wouldn't be a problem, but I don't think I would have liked it. one is going to create some quality, I think you have to like what you do. Yep. Mouth. Cheek. Add more shadows, I can build more the 3D effects that I like. May have to do some more scanning to get more of the things in the shadows, but that I can do later. I don't need that now. Just need to use that. That was one, that's not right. One. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Wrong. Wrong. Further down. I have to concentrate. When I use copyrighted material in my videos, other people earn some money. That's quite fun. But then again, I don't make videos to make money. I like it. Yeah. Fuck. 1, 2. Okay, I have to concentrate. So, just want to get some control over the first sketch. I needed to concentrate. So, here it is. Start. Take 2. I have gotten it quite right. 1 there and a little bit. 1 and a little bit. 1, 2, and yeah. So then it's just to start putting in the light parts, building it. I have more to work with here, more textures, more light, more shadows, more different colors, more depth, more to build a sculpture with, because that is what it actually is. When I build around here, you will see thick colors, thin, thick, thick, thin, you know, just molding it into it's almost like a sculpture. Anyway, I have a meeting at 2. Now I think it's almost 8:30 in the morning, and I should be asleep for a long time ago. That is how it is to be an artist, or be me. I don't know how it is to be an artist, just know how it is to be me. I always have a problem getting myself into bed. And I start doing stuff. Become like that rabbit in a Duracell commercial for batteries. Just keep on going until there is no more left. Anyway. So I just continue this tomorrow or today, or depends how you look at it. So I will see the same thing again. Just build, 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 build. And build with strokes. I don't draw much. I'm going to start drawing more. So, yeah. I think the proportions are okay. Can be a little bit broader. But all this shit I will start molding. Yeah. Okay. Good morning and good night. Yep. This sketch is getting better. I think it's much more to work with. All the shadows and stuff. And I made it. Really like the way I painted this because it's quite rough, following directions in paint. And if you can see here, it's like. This is why I love painting. These strokes, all these. I just love it. If you don't understand that, you don't understand painting. This is the first sketch. This is just a crude, rough. It's like the first layer of clay, or whatever you call it. But I really love this. This is why maybe I remember in the beginning when I was painting, I didn't even understand that. I used brushes and I brushed everything out, and everything became very, very, shall we say, flat. But when you start to understand painting, you start to understand that it's all in the strokes and the directions, and it's a bit fun too to work with it, because I have to paint in all the things that are on the scarf and the flag, and it's going to be quite fun. Yeah. Okay. So, almost finished with the first crude sketch of the new one. And then I have to start to mold it. the hand. The hand is going to be maybe almost. The first lump of clay. I did one sculpture once, and many times wondered if I'm going to start doing it again, because when you work with clay, you actually kind of feel it in your face when you're molding it. Actually, I have the same experience with paint too. But sometimes when I, especially a self-portrait, when I'm painting it, it's like I touch the canvas and I can feel it in my own face. The brain connects. So maybe we'll start doing that again, both self-portraits and doing works in clay. Could be interesting. I have enough room now. So. Some lights down here. Here. Took me a while to find the right lighting. I think I have found it now. I feel I can see all the colors. It's not too warm, not too cold. If you use only daylight, whatever you call it, if you only use daylight, if you don't move the painting into a room with only warm light, they tend to be too warm. And if you only use warm lights, you tend to be too cold in daylight. So you just have to find some middle ground. I guess it was easier before electricity, because you only saw them in light from oil lamps and daylight, so they didn't get that contrast. Like in Rembrandt's time, before electricity. I've heard I made some skylights I would like to buy when it becomes cheaper, but right now it's like $62,000 for having a skylight that mimics daylight, so I guess that is a stretch. Too expensive right now, but then again, the price for technology drops quite fast, so I hope I can get it someday. So the lighting, just a high places. It's going to be light. I just put the colors on, get some colors into it, get some texture, something that light hits, and if you look at the old masters, that's basically how they did it. So Anyway, I'm gonna try to keep this video a little bit short, so I'm gonna stop ranting now. And it's like 7 in the morning. I guess I need to get some sleep soon. I'm meeting with my agent tomorrow, so I have to. Yeah. Should do it. But, 30 years with martial arts have given me arthritis. That's fun. Arthritis? That's fun. So when I've been training, I'm limping a little bit. Yeah, so first crude sketch, and I'll continue tomorrow. Okay, good morning and good night. See? Yeah, good night. So, I have to start breaking down this sketch. It's sad really, because I really like these strokes here, but let me see the wrong colors, but to be able to move on, one has to kill it, and that's always in a way sad. Well, that's the way it has to go. So yeah. The first layers are always the most easiest, maybe. I want to give you the fastest, the quickest fix, because the results are coming very fast, actually. But when you start to kill your darlings, that's when it starts to get hard. That's what I have to do, because I'm not making a good painting by resorting to the easy way. Time is of the essence. The time you put into it, the numbers of time you touch the surface, and the texture you leave behind is crucial to evolve something that in the end has some substance. And I'm trying to build it like a sculpture. Think of the color as clay and just keep on molding. Some more lights. See how the lips goes. The young boy, it's actually commissioned work, and he has a very characteristic face, so gives me a lot to work with. That's a good thing. Cheeks. I never actually think about things as cheeks or eyes or I only think about it as a shape and color. Start thinking too much, you're gonna screw it up. I'm trying to paint the directions I see. Trying to find the right way. Almost feel it on my own face. Understanding. It's in it. See. It's not easy to concentrate when I have a camera hanging over me like this. There are no lines, there are only shadow and color. So guess that is what I'm trying to achieve. Here comes the ear. So see, I'm shaping this with the ear and I'm dragging it out. I see a lot of people painting down all the time or not concentrating about the different directions, and that is crucial. As I remember the paint or leaving some physical texture in the canvas, which sends out light, and the light that hits your retina will then represent the shapes and strokes that actually are in the painting. That is why how you build it is quite important, because you have to build it as it would be in reality, in a way. Not in a way, but yeah, like lights. How far out? Drag it out, drag it up. And I see it goes kind of down. I kind of do it like this. All this kind of stuff I'm saying all the time. So, sometimes I'm trying to make the videos not that long, but it's hard to know when to stop, and then they just keep on growing. So, well, I guess you get the point by now. I can't really teach anyone to paint. You have to do the job yourself. It is like playing the piano. You will not get better unless you buy one and play. So yeah. The lighting in this room is quite difficult to work, to take videos of, because the roof is not so high, and I see that it's actually quite difficult to film it right because of the lighting. But I'm going to soon start using the bigger rooms and finish some paintings and some videos I've been working on for quite a while. So it's going to be better, I think. Like okay. Just build. It's hard to see in this light again, but I think you get the point. Yeah. Going deeper into detail. Snow is getting hard. I think the eye is a little bit too big. And I might have to do something with that. So like this. Well, I have to really concentrate when I'm doing that. Eyes are always difficult. You kind of have to find the right level. And yeah, the right shadows, the right lines, the right. It's really difficult. Kind of first make a line and then I kind of dissolve it afterward. But it's sad, it's hard to find the right colors, right hue. In the film. And this one looks more reddish with that camera. And the other one looks more bluish. And I really have no idea how to fix that problem. Maybe I'm going to start to work in my other rooms because the ceiling are higher up and the light isn't coming that brutally down, so I can focus better. So here, and start to build. If you hear a sound, it's actually a store upstairs, and it's like 7:30 in the morning, and people are starting to wake up and go to work. So, I guess he's moving around his fruit and vegetables and stuff like that. Anyway, now you see I'm moving. I'm trying to move with shape. You have to understand how a face works. You have to kind of follow the shape and understand how the directions go. You can't. You have to overpaint and overpaint to reach them. To do it in one go wouldn't work. Impressionism looks very nice, but it's not that difficult. If you have taught yourself to draw and you have some sense of how the colors work, brush strokes, impressionism becomes an easy task actually. In a way I do Impressionism before I paint over it. So things are actually starting to happen in this painting now. It's been difficult finding the right light, but I think we all want to look good on videos, but I guess I have to lose my 10 kilos first. Which probably will never happen. So, now I'm getting somewhere. If you look at old masters and Rembrandt, you go into these eyes, so you can see it's quite dissolved and there's no real lines. In the paintings he did when he was a young man, there are more lines because he wasn't that into the painting as he was in the end. So yeah, it's starting. I do not have any light in the pupil to use as to enhance it, but it's always a thing around that kind of creates the impression. So just have to get that right, and I think the eyes I want to feel alive. Yeah. See here, it's a little bit too red, but it's kind of how I build. It's the photograph, and the eye on the dark eye I'm gonna fill in there, give it some more presence. But then again, yeah. Okay, yeah. Oops. Much too red. So, working with some detail. Still have a problem with the eye thing, so I think I have to print out some more to get so I can see the eye and get it in there, or make an impression of it. I guess that is what I have to do. Because it now seems like a hole in the canvas. It's not good enough. You see, what I do is that I work now in directions to build texture. Then I'm kind of linking everything together while painting. Trying to link the shadows into the light, not leaving any lines open. You see what I mean? I just go down the root of the nose with brush back and forth, trying to find the right spots. I do have some problem with the photograph I use, because it kind of looks good on the photograph, but when I look more at it, it's kind of a little bit too reddish, so it doesn't even really leave me with so many colors to work with. But I just have to try to paint what I see. I mean, if it is quite nice in the photograph, it should be able to get it into the painting. The problem, of course, a photograph is a two-dimensional surface. Painting is a three-dimensional surface, and it has physical colors that kind of comes out. I think I'm getting his face right, that it's starting to look like him. And if we can get this right, I think it'll be good. What I also have to do before going further into detail is to do the whole canvas, so I'm not getting confused with the noise from the background. Background noise. It's like the universe. The background noise from the Big Bang. It is a new studio, new lighting. It has been hard to find the right lighting. 2 other rooms, huge, 1 big room behind here. It's maybe going to be easier because so I'm kind of looking forward to start painting in the other rooms. It's kind of to get the kind of greenish inside in the photograph. There's so many things to get right. I mean, the level. I have a light spot here, but how you have to kind of, can I really see it if I kind of put my eyes together? And no, not really. So what many people do when they paint is that they see this white spot and they kind of think it's as white as the highlights, but it isn't. It is a highlight, a very subtle highlight that hits it right there. That was even too much. And then you have some of the skull features. And as I say, you have to kind of link them together. Don't paint with lines, okay? Unless, of course, it's your goal. The shadows always kind of slide into the light, kind of slides into the slides, but kind of disappears into the dark. Like when that shadows appear. And just have to kind of make it feel natural. The shadows down here are kind of bluish, then some greenish. If there is orange, there is always blue somewhere, and if there is red, there is always green somewhere. You just have to find it. But it's not just that, you have to think about the texture of the skin compared to the texture of the cloth and the clothes, and the hair and the shadows, and it's all different kinds of feelings actually. when a portrait becomes difficult as this, it's also quite hard to start painting on it because it's kind of draining me. You start to lose patience because you can't really find the right way to solve the problems. But there is a cure for that, and it just keep on going. Yeah. There's so many things happening in the face to make an expression. Ah, fuck. See what I mean? So goddamn difficult to find the right colors. People also ask me, oh, it would be so great to be a painter. Oh, I would like to paint like you. You know, it's difficult. It's not something that you don't learn this in a day. For heaven's sake, I'm not finished teaching myself this. And I never will. Okay. Here we go. Now it's lights there, 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 there. And many times you do the mistake, you put on more and more light, and what you actually should do is to push down the shadows. Because the more shadow you have, the more nuances you have, the easier it is to find and to get the light into it. And I want the light to feel like it comes from inside the canvas, not that it seems like the light hits the canvas. If you only use whites or white and black and not much color, that is the feel you will get, feeling you will get from it. That actually the light is coming from the painting, is coming from the outside and hits the painting, and therefore it won't feel natural. So anyway, this is too difficult, so I just need to concentrate without speaking. Hope you get something out of it. Yeah. doing some detail around here, and it's the same thing, just keep on touching it. There is some cloth, piece of, maybe a little bit, a velvet thing falling down behind these leaves. Actually, there are some small leaves here that I have to work with. Then again, I have to kind of get the right color on the right blue on that velvet thing. I think it was a, I think that was on a birthday present thing that just hung on my wall, and it kind of shines in it in a nice way. A velvet kind of nice way. And it's kind of reddish in here and bluish, bluish greenish, and I have to work to get it right. I have to find the right directions and the color at the same time. What I basically do is work from it like this. First I sketch it, then I start working kind of sideways to differentiate the textures and the directions. So kind of the directions of the pencil strokes are defining more and more the room. It's a tedious process. It takes a while when you get into detail, but then you kind of, the pleasure of it comes back. You go deeper and you solve the big problems. Like this eye is too dark, I have to maybe print some more new photos to get more information. But you see, I just kind of just got it to fall into place here. And there's a lot of pleasure in it. There's so many things that makes me calm down. Actually, sitting in airports is one of the things that makes me calm down. People watching, traveling, going from one place to another, painting, dance, stuff like that, training. But painting is the thing that really stabilizes my brain. And even if you're not gonna make a living, I would recommend finding something you love. Can be anything. A former friend of mine, he fell in love with making aquariums. He found ways to let the stones fall in to the aquarium to create these natural habitats for the fish. So it should look like it was done by nature, and that is actually how nature does it, or the universe does it. I mean, every time the universe gravity touches something, places something, it can be a grain of sand or a wave or anything. It just keeps on creating these beautiful patterns. It's actually called chaos theory, and if you understand that, you can actually create quite nice things. It's like a painting. You have to work with a painting until it reminds you of a piece of wood you have thrown into the sea. And if you could find the same piece again, it would be a beautiful artwork. Made by gravity and chaos theory. And that is what I'm doing. Every time I correct something, every time I have to do things again, it creates some unconscious patterns, and every time I touch it with my own say subjective me, subjective subjective okay, can't find a word, subjective touch or whatever. And all these touches, every time I touch, kind of creates a trace of my subjectivity on the canvas. And that is why time, I think anyway, time is very important to create a good painting. And skill. Of course, skill is extremely important. If you don't understand colors, shape, on the intuitive level, you can actually get the knowledge, but you won't be able to do it until you have trained skill. You can't think the colors onto the canvas. You can only put them there. So it's all a subconscious process. Even when I'm speaking, parts of my brain is, I'm speaking, but one part is kind of just working on a different level. That is because my it's nice. My the brain that is for language doesn't intervene that much with the brain who is doing the visual stuff. So I can actually do two things at the same time. I can listen to stuff and I can speak, but I wouldn't be able to do any other task that demands my visual part of my brain's attention. And again, if we're going to go into a deep flow, deep flow, then I have to just have music and stuff. if it's, I have to kind of, some parts of my brain just have to go into this dance. And that is exactly what I'm going to do now. Yeah. Yeah. Starting to reach the end. I'm doing what I call extreme detail. It's really time consuming, and it is basically to sew together all the different nuances. And what I do is that I go in and let the colors kind of cross over each other, and pulling them down, putting them down, and bringing them up. It's a very time-consuming process. So you have to kind of, and here's with swine brush comes in. Because it creates some kind of woolly feeling in the texture when you work like this. Kind of cross work in directions and try to find the right direction with the colors to give it the right sense of room, space, depth. I do not like when it becomes too flat, so I like to give every part of the painting a texture, even if it's all down into the room, or even if it's subtle, very subtle. So then you get this feeling that it's actually real. It's hard to explain, you just have to try to do it. Yeah. What has been a problem in this painting is that I don't see much of the eye in the photo I use, so I have to figure out a way to bring that out. And the yellow is very difficult because it's a very strong color that is hard to kind of keep down. See, I just work slowly, steadily, trying to find the right texture. And then in the light behind there, I make it a little bit more 3D, like if it were clay, I would just, if it was a relief with clay, I would kind of put on some color there that comes a little bit longer out than the dark part. That gives and when that light hits it, it kind of hits that one first and it pulls in the darkness, the dark part. Kind of keep on pushing it. I don't want my paintings to be kind of photographic and just one plain texture, but to give it some more life, I like to use different textures and different to kind of bring it to life. It's hard to explain in English, especially when I'm talking to my hand. I'm talking, I actually like having dialogues because they are triggers for deeper thinking. Every time you go over a painting, if you're painting like this, you will always be able to become a little bit better, a little bit stronger, a little bit more defined. And the more you touch it, the more of you will put into it. So I find it really interesting to keep on working on this, on the paintings, until they are really coming out of the motif is coming out of the canvas. There's some point of light there, and there is some point of light here is probably, so it kind of brings it out. So, okay. So, I'm doing the hand, and I'm trying to make it become a little bit natural, so I have to keep on kind of crossing over the colors. I cannot drag them like this. I don't do like this because that just makes a line. I cannot go in and mold them together. It's a time-consuming process, as I've said 100 times, but it's worth it because you get a more subtle. First I have made it kind of wet with the oil and colors, lasur, but just put some oil on it and start molding it, and then when I paint it for a while, it kind of, the oil is getting into the color automatically, and then I can start doing stuff like this. The typical thing that people do is kind of making things too light. When you see some light, they just pour on white and stuff, and it's not really the way to go, because usually the nuances, you have to look at the brightest part and keep everything down in a way to make the shadows, and yeah. Like here I did it too light here, so I just need to kind of put it down a little bit. And over here too. And this is just details. When you get into this level, starts to take some time, but it's also, if you're up to it, it's very nice because you get into this deep deep flow. Of course, not when I'm talking now, but when I'm working, and not having the camera on, it's much easier to get deeper into stuff. And it's a beautiful feeling that I recommend any amateur. You don't need to become a full-time artist. It's just a good way to relax. And I mean, I'm a quite ambitious person when it comes to what I want to achieve in my paintings, the level of aesthetics. But I'm kind of only competing with myself. I'm not competing with any other artists. I'm not envying anyone, or don't feel kind of put down or challenged by people who are better than me. Many people who are better than me, and I can learn from it and kind of look up to them and stuff. So yeah, and I have developed my own style, so I haven't learned it from anyone. I just started painting when I was like 21. I'm 47. So when you don't learn from someone, you just pick it up and you start painting, and you learn from your mistakes. It becomes much more your own expression. You see, now I'm just kind of, not kind of, I hate that kind of, it is or it isn't. You see, just molding it, kind of, blah blah blah. So I kind of do directions, trying to understand the shapes, and yeah. See, now I put that on, the light comes out, and now start. But it's more than, you have to do it in layers. You can't do everything at once, and you just have to wait until it dries so you can do the same process again. And every time you do it, you get a little bit closer, a little bit closer. Okay, people say, oh, why do you do this? You can do it with a photograph. No, you can't do this with a photograph. A photograph is a photograph. This is a painting. That's a crucial difference. Interacting. I'm doing photographs, but I wouldn't even come close to compare the difficulty in doing painting and taking photographs. Of course, there are very good photographers out there, but to learn to paint takes much more skill. Especially now when you have the digital cameras. I mean, anyone can buy a camera, even with an iPhone or iPad. I don't mean to put down a photograph, but it's a totally different thing. That is my point. Yes. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it at that for today. So I just don't fuck it up again. Fucking up is a part of it. See, I've done some mistakes here. I can see this one has to be further out. And here. At least here. Yeah. That's how it's done. You just suddenly realize you fucked up, and you have to. Sometimes you even have it right and then you fuck it up and you think, and then you see, oh shit, it was actually how it should be. So just get it back to what it was. I'm doing now actually was the right shape earlier today. So, okay. There's going to be much more shadows and lights around this, but it has to dry first. Okay. There's some blue here, and I'm gonna put on the bluish color. Yes. Okay. Okay, you see how I work in directions. I don't know how good this video is because the light in this room is quite difficult to work with. I'm looking forward actually to start working in my bigger rooms because the light is getting more spread out. But I started this painting in this room, so I have to finish it in this room, or I have to do the whole thing again, because a little bit changes in the light you're working in, and you just see different colors, different things that you don't like suddenly. And yeah, well, there's a nail here somewhere. It's actually impressionism in a way. Well, I just leave it at this today. Yeah, it's not gonna take long to dry because it's so thin with color. Yeah. I mean, what's underneath is manifested on top anyway. So okay. I mean, you see what's underneath while you paint the light that you see, or the shapes you see, so you don't really need to know what's underneath, you just have to repeat what you see. It's a lot of people who, let me figurative painting, I have to study anatomy and blah blah blah. Well, that's anatomy is interesting, but you don't need to study anatomy to the anatomy of a tree or the anatomy of an apple or whatever, anatomy of anything living to paint it. You just try to repeat what you see. There's too much light here now, I have to put it down later, but not now. Because I can't stop. That's the problem. Always been my problem. I've never been able to stop in time. Start to ruin it again, and let's do it all over. So stop. Yeah, stop. Yeah. I'm now in the kind of a last phase where I work with what I refer to as extreme detail. Just kind of getting all of it together. This has been a very difficult painting because of the photograph I have used, and because of the lack of information actually. Has been too dark, but I think I'm getting there. Some left and a lot of small adjustments to do. Shadows to put into it. Getting all the things at the right place. Giving shadows. Not too much, not too little. That's when you come to the point where you start to use the lasur techniques. You just kind of put the colors on top of things that are over in there. Kind of gives it more natural texture. No. And again, and then you can use your nails. You can use just putting it on and maybe it's a point where you actually start to see really see the wrong things you have done. And what to say? So hard. Eyes. Yeah. Kind of get this natural feel to it. I have to say the camera isn't actually picking up the colors right, but I guess I just have to live with it. I can barely see, see the eye in here. So I just have to kind of get that right. And in this painting there are more reddish and some bluish colors, not so much yellow, and more red. And red is a very difficult color to deal with because it can get too warm and then it gets kind of way too warm, and you start to feel like it's almost a little bit kitsch-like, and I hate that. The highlights are quite important. As you see now, you kind of just it just comes out. Then it is all these things, getting the shadows to kind of glide into the light and things behind there. And, that's the thing. It is a commissioned portrait, so it's even when it's a commission portrait, you don't feel like you have any leverage at all. You kind of have to really become the person you are supposed to. Paint, of course, that is also important. There are other things that you have greater room in other paintings. The most difficult thing I've done is the portrait of a war hero in Norway and Samuel Steinman, the Jewish Norwegian Holocaust survivor. And the Crown Prince were there at the opening. A kind of almost a surreal situation where you standing there and have to, you feel being judged for what you have done, or measured. Of course, basically I'm my worst critic. I'm my own worst critic, but I'm the kind of person who never actually get actually come to a point where I really think what I've done is good enough. So you have to deal with your low self-esteem every time. But I guess it's a good tool, because if you get too pleased with what you do, you're probably going to stop fighting. So, and it is the fight that are important to evolve as a painter. I mean, that is everything you do. Just keep looking, keep observing, keep thinking. Don't paint too fast. To get that skin tone feeling, it has to be try to repeat how skin actually works. It's such a hard thing to do. And I like the sculptural part of it. I don't want it to be inside the painting. I want it to come out and say, hey, I'm here. I'm a sculpture. I want to come out of the picture. That's why I keep on pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, almost like I'm making a sculpture. Actually, I wonder if I'm going to make some reliefs, just to really go for the shape and form. Really feel it in my fingers. Make some sculptures and stuff. Now to get that shape first, how the nose is, and then I need some color, some reddish, and I kind of go on top of that again. So I kind of, it is kind of, it isn't kind of. You see, now it kind of starts to glide here. I have to make the highlight a little bit smaller to make it more. If you have too much white, too much highlight, it kills it. It's just a spot, small, tiny spot. And there's some bluish around here. Kind of, yeah. I'm using the word kind of a lot, and I hate that word kind of. It doesn't really mean anything. Nothing is kind of. It is or it isn't. And, well, it is kind of a boy. Kind of. Anyway, ranting here. Just okay. Maybe get kind of the point, and I have to do the eyes better, and I have to make the eyes the right size because it may be too big. I have to get that small light, just tiny blue light in the photograph. That comes in here somewhere. That gives it life, and that's of course too much, but kind of. Just paints over it, pushes it in, and then I fucked it up. But anyway, that's how I work in the end, really often. And you have to be in good shape to do this. You can't be hungover. You have to lead a healthy life. If you're going to do this sort of detail, you have to be focused. You can't do all the partying and stuff like that. You just have to keep your body and your brain very healthy. Yeah. You see the lights come from the side, and it hits his face. It explains the shape of the face, and that's what push it with that. Anyway, I need to focus, so I'm going to turn this off now. Yeah, so I have been doing a touch-up. As you see, I am basically finished with it. And it's been a ride. It's very intense. It's intense, intense colors. And yeah, it's been very difficult with the yellow. of back and forth, you wind up on in the end. That is the thing with my paintings, that I do go all the way in, and the uncertainty is always present. And that's a good thing. I guess the most annoying thing with doing figurative painting like this is every time you start touching it, you realize that you can always push it a little bit further. Another small detail, surface thing can be more molded. But it has to stop somewhere, and I think I've reached that point now in this one. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it at this. I'll see the frame on so I actually see how it is. And yeah, that's something. It's only hard to see. This is a commissioned work, so it always becomes very personal when it's a commission, which makes it even harder. It's like you're drowning in responsibility. Now that the customer is pleased with it, so that makes it a little bit easier. Yeah, that was too much. Just taking my finger, maybe, fuck. Let's another color into there. This is what happens, you just touch something and you notice that you actually have to go in and correct the surroundings, and this is why a touch-up can actually take many more hours than you actually plan for, because you do some adjustments and suddenly you have to start adjusting everything around the adjustment. Adjustment. So, yeah, it's better. Probably couldn't even see that, but you get the point, I hope. So hard because it's so dark. It's a very dark photo. So there are all there things I really can't see. And what do you do when you can't see it? Well, you have to paint it as you see it. Don't add things that aren't there. You're just going to create even more chaos. Just try to observe what is there. Yeah. So, just going to sign it. It's always difficult. Now I have my pencils on dried and the screwer screws it up a little bit. And I'm going to go dark this because it's a little bluish down here, so I can go in dark, I guess. So just sign it K and A, and with my last name is Vikshåland. And I know that many people have, especially English-speaking people, have problems pronouncing my name. So I'm gonna tell you how. It's actually Knut André in Norwegian. Knut André. I've heard in Norway we used to believe in Odin and Thor and his old beautiful gods. And my name is kind of from that time. But it's not linked to Christianity, it's linked to the Norrøn mythology. And Knut actually means strong, and André means human. I heard somewhere. Correct me if I'm wrong. So, my name is Strong Human. It's fun. It's fun. At least I'm persistent. I don't give up easily. I never surrender. I just keep going. Two 2016. Yeah. Okay. Fucked up the K. It's not typical. Just because I'm not concentrating, I'm talking to you. Okay, so okay. So that was too much. Yeah, it was too much. Competes with a flag, so I just have to do it again with something more bluish, I guess. Oh, fuck. What's a color? Okay, I use some lighter color, some bluish. See how that turns out. Okay. I always stand when I'm painting. It's more dynamic that way, and you don't fuck up your back. Your back is quite important, so, well, that's how I prefer those. Oh, wasn't good. Yes. Okay. Yeah. What do I do? Do I go back? Yeah, I go back, deeper. I've also been training all kinds of martial arts and stuff, particularly karate and taekwondo for many years, and 3 years ago I got this inflation in my hip, so, and I have some issues with my back, so standing or sitting would make that infinitely much worse. So, 2016. Ta-da! Okay. Fini. Yeah. Vikshåland. The fuck? Vikshåland. Yeah, I'm also a dyslexic, so a little bit dyslexic, so I tend to misspell things. I was discussing some stuff on Facebook today, and this guy jumped at me, if you do study stuff, why are you spelling so bad? And I told him I didn't think this was a spelling contest. And I guess that is how people is acting when they are out of arguments. I never do that. That would be silly. It's okay. It's okay. Can be like that. Knut André Vikshåland 2016. I was Norwegian. Okay, we are finished. Okay, thanks for watching this video. If you'd like to support my channel with $1 or $5 or whatever amount you like, you can actually sign up on Patreon. There's a link in the description and at my channel. As a patron, I will gladly help you to evolve your painting skills, and you can also become the lucky owner of one small painting every month, which is a Patreon giveaway that anyone can win. So, with this, I hope you enjoyed it, and I see you in the next video, and keep painting.